Hello and welcome to this first case study lecture in this section on introduction in this course Guesstimates and Consulting Case Interview Excellence. So in this lecture we will give you a case study of developing excellence in guesstimates and case interviews to crack consulting interviews. So this is a case study, where a person moves from random answers to structured thinking and then crack the consulting guesstimates and case interviews. So let's take a look at that. So in terms of background, let's say this person is Kabir, a gender masked, name mask, face mask, right? A 24-year-old top tier engineering graduate, strong GPA, good internships, and he targets McKinsey, BCG, Bain, Big Four strategy, right? For strategy jobs. He clears resumes easily, so that's an easy part. But he keeps failing in the first round case interviews. And his failures, how does it look? In guesstimates, his numbers are random and unstructured. In case studies, he jumps to solution, lacks clear frameworks, misses key drivers, and struggles with maths under pressure. And the feedback that he keeps getting is that you have good intelligence, but poor structured and weak business judgment. And after five rejection, his confidence collapses. He says, I know concepts, but under pressure, I freeze. My thinking becomes chaotic. And he now has 90 days before the next major consulting hiring wave. So that's the background. So, what is the core insight that changed everything for Kabir? So, Kabir meets a former McKinsey consultant who tells him that consulting interviews don't test intelligence, right? They test how you think under ambiguity, structured chaos, quantify reality, and communicate clearly. And Kabir realized the brutal truth that he was trying to get the right answer instead of showing consultant grade thinking. So he changes his goal from cracking questions to mastering structured problem solving under pressure and demonstrating or showing it to the interviews. So that's the core insight that changed everything. So Kabir uses, a four-pillar system to master the guesstimates and case studies. Now, what are these four pillars? The pillar one is guesstimates, from guessing to market modeling. Second is about case interviews, from framework memorization to problem decomposition. The framework third is mental maths under pressure. And the fourth framework is communication, thinking aloud, uh, you know, thinking out aloud professionally, showing your thinking, sharing your thinking aloud. So that's the four pillar system Kabir uses. Let's take a look at what did he do under each of these. So in the pillar one, in his own style, what Kabir did was, random assumptions, no segmentation, no logic change, and wild final numbers in guesstimates, right? So in moving to market modeling, he adopts new rule that a guesstimate is not a number, it's a business model in disguise. So he uses a six-step guesstimate framework. Now, what is that framework that he uses? Very close to what we're going to teach you again. So segment the market logically. Define the objective clearly first. Start with that. What is it that you want to guesstimate? Example, estimate annual sales of electric scooters in a city. Then you segment the market logically in terms of population, age, income, usage pattern, for example. Then you use a top-down and bottom-up cross-check, demand-side model, supply-side model. Then you use realistic benchmarks or in terms of households, vehicles per family, trips per day, for example, ticket size. And then you do sanity check always, by comparing with known industries, compare your own city GDP, and compare with adjacent categories. And finally, state the strategic implication, not just the number, what it means in terms of profitability, scale, or feasibility. So that's how you can move from guessing to market modeling and do the guesstimate. The second thing was to, move from memorization to problem decomposition. Kabir used to earlier, memorize the profitability framework, three P's, three C's, four P's, value chain, but his mentor stopped him. Says, don't apply frameworks. Build them from the first principle. Remember this. Build them from the first principle. And he started using this new case method thinking. With each case now he followed was started clarifying the objective. Is the objective growth, profit, market entry, turnaround? Then the break the problem into drivers, right? What are the drivers of whatever you want to achieve, whether it is revenue, cost, market, competition, capabilities, and convert every hypothesis in a question. If the profit is down, is it the price, volume, or cost structure? Quantify at every step, right? What is the percentage change? How many units? What impact it on margin might have? And synthesize every 10 minutes say by saying, so far the key driver appears to be so and so. So that's how Kabir moved from framework memorization to problem decomposition. The third pillar was on mental math under pressure. So Kabir's earlier math failures were due to slow multiplication, rounding errors, and panic in front of the interviewers. Now, his new 30-minute routine he uses daily is that he does multiplication tables up to 30, looks at percentage change drills, ratio comparisons, break larger number into chunks, speed division without calculator, and after 4 weeks, his maths becomes automatic. His brain now focuses on thinking, not on calculating. The fourth pillar that Kabir used was thinking out aloud professionally. He learns that how you speak matters as much as what you saw. So he trains himself in clear structuring. You know, I will approach this problem in three steps. Clean transition. Based on this, we can interpret like this, etc., etc. And executive synthesis, the key by saying the key takeaway is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. And interviewers now see him as already trained like a consultant. So that's the fourth pillar Kabir used. So what happened in the breakthrough interview? So in BCG, he gets a BCG interview, his dream interview, and he gets a case of a retail bank losing profitability in its credit card business. So what does Kabir do in its model style? He clarifies the objectives, right? Structured problem into customer segments, spend per user, default rates, operating cost per account. He quantifies. He quantifies default impact on margin, cost to serve per customer, and then synthesizes that decline is driven primarily by rising defaults in subprime segments rather than usage drop. A strategic exit from the bottom 20% customers could restore 40% of the profit loss. And for the first time, interviewer smiles. With this, he clears not only BCG but Deloitte, SNO, and Accenture strategy in the same season. So those were the breakthrough interviews. So what is the hidden skill that he actually built? So Kabir later realizes that he did not just learn guesstimates and cases. He learned how to structure uncertainty, quantify ambiguity, and speak with strategic clarity. And this is the real consulting skill, right? So let's take a look at the consulting OS he developed. Uh, and you can use this as a model for yourself in addition to what we're going to teach you. So there are 5 levels of skills that you need to develop. Guesstimates will develop market intuition, case structuring will develop strategic clarity, mental math will execution speed it will improve, and synthesis will give you the leadership communication, and business judgment will establish credibility of the decisions that you're going to recommend. So this is the excellence ways of consulting that Kabir developed. So what is the final insight? So the final insight is that you can crack consulting interviews not by memorizing answers, but training your brain to think like a consultant under pressure. And what do we do next now? We start taking a look at the guesstimates in terms of how to develop these guesstimates as we go forward, and we have the approach to you and a lot of cases, a lot of examples for you to solve and skill yourself. So thank you so much for watching this introductory case study in this course. I hope you're beginning to learn new things, beginning to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.